For the longest time, the Indian paint industry, and we're talking about a 70,000 crore rupee market here, was, well, pretty predictable. A few big players ruled the roost, investors were happy, and things were pretty calm. Well, that's all changing in a huge way. A massive new competitor has just kicked the door in, sparking a full-blown war that's splashing red ink all over everyone's balance sheets. So let's dive into how this peaceful kingdom got thrown into complete chaos.
I mean, for over 80 years, this industry was a textbook case of an oligopoly, right? A handful of companies called all the shots, from the price of paint to which dealers got stocked in the smallest towns. It was a super stable, high-profit business, which is exactly why their stocks were such darlings for investors. But that stability, that predictability, it also made it a very, very tempting target.
And this chart right here, it shows you exactly what that old world looked like. This is the breakdown from 2023. I mean, just look at Asian Paints, the absolute king of the castle with a massive 59% of the market. Then you add Berger Paints at 18%, and you've got two companies controlling nearly 80% of the entire decorative paint scene. That, my friends, is what you call dominance.
All right, so how did this kingdom get so darn powerful in the first place? Well, it wasn't built overnight. It was built over decades on a solid foundation of brand loyalty, an incredible distribution network, and just really consistent performance. Let's take a look at the two royals who ran the show.
First up, the king itself, Asian Paints. And look, this wasn't just another company. It's practically an institution in India. For more than 80 years, they built a fortress with an incredible net promoter score of 70, which basically means their customers absolutely loved them. And that fortress was protected by a moat of 1.7 lakh dealers. I mean, just try getting past that. They were the go-to choice for millions of Indian homes.
And every king needs a strong, reliable number two, right? And for the longest time, that was Berger Paints. With a 100-year history in India, they were that trusted, consistent runner-up. They grew steadily, they kept innovating, and they carved out a really profitable, really secure slice of the kingdom for themselves.
But, as we all know, no kingdom, no matter how strong, lasts forever. In 2024, a new challenger appeared on the horizon, and they didn't show up with a small army. They came with an overwhelming force, ready to storm the castle walls. And this right here is where our story gets really interesting.
And that challenger has a name, Berger Paints. Now, here's what makes this so fascinating. This isn't some scrappy startup trying to make a name for itself. This is coming from Grasim Industries, a flagship company of the colossal Aditya Birla Group. This is corporate royalty with incredibly deep pockets and a huge existing network. From day one, they were a serious, credible threat.
And believe me, they came ready for a fight. Their initial investment? A jaw-dropping 10,000 crore rupees. Let that sink in for a second. That's over $1 billion. This isn't them dipping their toes in the water. This is a full-on declaration of war, a plan to seize market share no matter what it takes.
And what do you do with that kind of money? You build scale, and you do it fast. Their total annual production capacity from 6 new plants is a mind-boggling 1,332 million liters. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that is more than the second, third, and fourth largest players combined. Yeah, you heard that right. They became the second biggest manufacturer literally overnight.
And it's not just about size, it's about speed. They were super smart about it, leveraging their existing cement business network. The result? They've already hit over 8,000 towns in just over a year. So you've got speed, you've got scale, and you've got a ton of money. That is a serious triple threat. So the big question is, how on earth do the old guys fight back?
Now, your first thought might be, okay, they'll just get into a price war, right? Fight fire with fire. But it's way more complicated than that. They know a simple price war is just a race to the bottom, and that would absolutely crush their profits. So instead, they're fighting a different kind of war, a war of strategy, of value, and of innovation.
Okay, so this slide is perfect because it lays out the two game plans side by side. On the one hand, you've got Berger Paints playing the classic disruptor's handbook. Slash prices, give dealers amazing incentives like free tinting machines, and just expand like crazy. But on the other side, the old guard is playing chess, not checkers. They're focusing on innovating new products, pushing their premium stuff, offering these crazy long warranties, and really digging in their heels in rural India. And honestly, this quote from Amit Singhal, the CEO of Asian Paints, says it all. We focus on sustainable value, not discounts. They are flat out refusing to get dragged into a messy price war. The bet they're making is that their legacy, their quality, their brand trust, that's what's going to win in the long run. It's a really bold move.
And hey, this isn't just corporate speak. Look at the actual weapons they're bringing to this fight. Asian Paints is offering warranties up to 25 years on some paints. I mean, who does that? That's a huge statement about quality. Then they've got these cool AI tools for customers. Meanwhile, Berger is rolling out specialized products like Roof Cool and Seal, perfect for India's climate, and they're opening hundreds of new stores. This is what real innovation under pressure looks like.
Okay, but a war like this always has casualties, right? Even with all these clever strategies, a battle this intense, it takes a toll on everyone. The entire industry is feeling the squeeze.
Just take a look at the market leader, Asian Paints. This table tells a really powerful story. Their 10-year growth rates, which were solid, have been sliced in the last 3 years. I mean, revenue growth got cut in half. That's a direct result of this new, intense competition.
And you better believe investors have noticed. Over the last year, Asian Paints stock is down a massive 20%. Berger Paints is down almost 8% too. This is exactly what happens when those reliable, safe stocks suddenly face a real, credible threat. The market is basically saying, hey, we expect lower profits and slower growth for a while.
And if you need proof that the challenger is actually making a dent, here it is. In just about a year, Asian Paint's market share has reportedly dropped from that dominant 59% all the way down to around 52%. That 7% might not sound like a lot, but in a 70,000 crore rupee market, that is a huge slice of the pie. The new guys are making a real impact for sure.
Okay, so we've seen the battle lines, we've seen the strategies, we've even seen some of the early damage. But now for the question that probably matters most to a lot of you. What in the world does this mean for your portfolio? Where are the opportunities and where are the landmines in this new, chaotic paint sector? All right, let's break it down for investors. The bear case? It's pretty straightforward. This war is going to squeeze profits and stock prices for at least the next couple of years. But the bull case is still really strong. Think about it. The long-term demand for paint in India, driven by housing, urbanization, and more money in people's pockets, that's not going anywhere. The big takeaway, the new reality is that the calm, easy money days of the oligopoly are over. The incumbents are banking on their brand power, but the warning here is pretty clear. These are still great companies, but you might not see those amazing stock returns for a little while.
And all of this leaves us with one massive, fascinating question. This paint war is literally redrawing the map of an entire industry. The old kingdom's borders are fading. So will the old kings, with their powerful brands and deep innovations, successfully defend their crowns? Or are we standing here right now witnessing the very beginning of a brand new dynasty? Well, the next few years are going to be fun to watch.